The Pandas drop function is used to remove rows or columns in a data frame. This can be done by specifying label names with an axis to remove or by referencing the index of a column value. The drop function can also be used to remove rows or columns on a multi-index data frame with the use of the level keyword. We will create a new script with the Pandas library imported as PD, followed by the NumPy library imported as NP. Next, we will create a new data frame called values using pd.dataframe. We will create a new data frame using np.arrange with the integer 16 within, and then the reshape function will be chained on to create a data frame with 4 rows and 4 columns. Then the columns keyword will be added with the values A, B, C, and D, and the data frame will be printed to the console. Now that the data frame is set up, we can use the drop function by calling it on the values data frame. The first argument is the list of labels that will be dropped, columns A and B, followed by the keyword axis, which is used to identify where the labels are found. In this case 1, which means the labels are columns. When the result is printed to the console, we see that the columns A and B have been dropped from the values data frame. To drop rows from the data frame, we can change the labels to the index names 0 and 1, and the axis will be changed to 0. Now when the function is run, we see that the rows with the index 0 and 1 have been removed from the data frame. We can also remove rows or columns from a multi-index data frame. To do this, we will create a new multi-index called index with 2 levels. The levels will represent questions asked on a test that have the options true and false specified by assigning a 2D array to the keyword levels. Next, we will add the keyword codes with a 2D array with the first row containing the values 0, 0, 1, and 1, and the second row containing the values 0, 1, 0, and 1. Now we can use this multi-index to create a new data frame called questions using pd.dataframe. Next, we will specify the index as the multi-index we created, and the column names will be 2 classes that took the test, class 1 and class 2. Now we will add the data in a 2D array with 4 rows and 2 columns. Each class will contain 30 students, so the total for both answers on each question will add up to 30. Now when the data frame is printed to the console, we see that we have 2 questions showing how each class answered the question. To remove the answer true from each of the questions, we can use the drop function on the questions data frame and specify the index value true as the first argument. Now we will add the keyword level and specify the value 1, which means the index true can be found in the second level of the multi-index. Now when the result is printed to the console, we can see that the value true has been removed from each question. We can remove the results from the first question Q1 by adding the index name as the first argument, and then change the level to the value 0. Now the result does not contain the results from the first question. To remove a column, in this case the second class, we can use the columns keyword within the drop function and specify the value class 2. Now the result does not contain the answers from the second class. Lastly, we can remove rows and columns from the questions data frame at the same time. For example, let's remove the second question by specifying an index of Q2 and a column value of class 2. Now the result only contains the first question and the answers from the first class. For more Python tutorials, like, share, and subscribe to the PyPros channel.